Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for your episode of London Club's Carnage pre-record today, premiering for you guys watching because there's just no time between the fixtures, man. Chelsea play Arsenal tomorrow, so this will be going up obviously in the morning when you're watching, and it was absolute bedlam on the weekend. I'm not gonna lie. For the games that were played, me and Potts were too busy watching Formula One. Do you know what I mean? Watching sprint races. And Lawless and Tobs didn't disappoint, man. 7 goals in both games. I mean, I don't even know how you two have survived through that. And both of you on the end of a loss in the end. Both extremely entertaining. Tobs in particular, I must say that those reactions on DR were just fucking brilliant, mate. Absolutely brilliant. Creme de la creme shit right there. Lawless, you're lucky. You're lucky yours wasn't broadcasted live. I didn't even see you on West Ham Fan TV. Where were you? I didn't see.
I was at the game.
Oh, see, this is the problem. I needed to see your reactions in person.
I did a reaction afterwards outside the ground. But yeah,
he was sat behind a post, a column. Or the whole game.
I saw your tweet get viral.
That was you. That
yeah.
Was, oh my days.
It went viral. Away days picked up, and now I've got Palace fans constantly in my DM, like in my notifications. They won't leave me alone. They're just obsessed by it. The fact, at least it's not that shithole. It's like, I'm not being funny yet. Obviously, their owners agree with me that their ground's a shithole, which is why they're redeveloping it. So
I used to live near that area. It's got the Sainsbury's attached to it, isn't it? That one.
It's it's I don't know. It's just annoying. Like there's so many.
It's a good away day for atmosphere, but in terms of view,
there's so many places you can sit and not see the game.
Yeah,
people are like, "Why don't you just go sit somewhere else?" We actually unless you're sat right at
the front, Lawless, you're gonna have an obstructed view of the game.
That's what I mean. That's the problem. The front. If you're at the front, it's brilliant. It's great at the front. Everywhere else, shit.
It's like a concert, but basically you've described.
Pretty much. But yeah, it was stressful. But yeah, I know. Obviously, we've got to get it to everything real quick because Potts has another show coming up. How many different shows does this guy have to do just to talk about how he bottled the league? Like, honestly,
I've got a show coming up as well at 6.
Yeah, Tobs as well. So we better not waste no time. Tobs, again, foolish question, but how are you, brother?
I could be worse.
Yeah, you could be. I think you gave a good account of yourself. Like you guys we're gonna get into it, but you guys were actually the better team. But Potts, how are you, bro? How are you? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm kind of over everything. It's been a while now. It's been a few days. So without having football, it's all good. We can talk about Chelsea Arsenal preview and just rip into West Ham and Spurs. It's calm. It's all good.
Whoa. This is the first London Club's Carnage since the Man City Arsenal game.
Yes.
I don't think you're just sitting here getting away with it, yeah?
People are bored of that now, man.
Nah.
No one's bored of it. Let's talk about Man City. Let's talk about how you were absolutely thrashed like the spineless, the cowardice club you are. Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah, let's talk about that. Go on, Lawless.
We can talk about that. What do you want to ask me?
You guys really want to go back into the archives?
I do. Yeah, man. Lawless is right. He thinks he's just gonna cop some laughs off of West Ham and Spurs and just pretend like nothing's happened. Your team literally got.
I'll be able to do that. As well.
No, you can do both. But we're going to talk about how your team got.
Luckily, your teams are still shite. I can still laugh.
Yeah, that's
even
fine.
Though my team was shit.
That's fine. We know our teams are shit, but you are not going to get away from this cooking. You got battered. You got absolutely battered. You are lucky that Hairline didn't have his finishing boots on because that could have been an embarrassing scoreline. It was all fun and jokes when it was Spurs that were getting hit for 5 goals by Newcastle the other day. 5-0 in 21 minutes. Even the Liverpool game, he's going to talk about, Richie lad. Bro, you should have been about 3 or 4 goals down within the opening 20 minutes of that Man City game. You should have been so many goals down. And I'm even annoyed with Man City because when it's Spurs, these teams have their finishing boots on. But when it's Arsenal, When it's Arsenal, Liverpool can create
Or
a
Spurs.
barrage of chances and not win the game. Man City can literally dominate that game from start to finish and only score 4. It's annoying because you should have been at the end of a serious hiding. You should have been.
Man City always take their foot off the pedal when it's Arsenal. I noticed that. When it gets to that point where it's like, yeah, this is
Smash every year at the Etihad by 5.
yeah, but they could always put more past you, but they feel bad for you. And like it's just the way that you lot went into this game. All hyped up, like, come on, like we can.
Not all of us. I predicted a 3-1 loss, brother. I predicted a 3-1 loss.
Well.
I told you all that we were going to lose. So just calm down there, boy. There's a lot of people in the studio that are predicting 2-1 wins, 3-1 wins, 2-0 wins. You can go at them if you want. Me and Guna Lee said 3-1 and 4-1 losses because we just had no.
Just because you predicted that doesn't mean it any less embarrassing for your team. Yeah,
I didn't say it was.
This isn't just
I didn't say
any
it was.
game. Like,
okay, it's a title decider.
It's exactly. If one of our teams just rocked up on a random to the Etihad, got slapped like that, we go, oh, Man City. But this is a title deciding game. This is like a cup final. How do you not show up in a cup final? It's like Baku again, isn't it? It's like Baku.
Weren't good enough. Yeah. What do you want me to say? We threw this title away before the other night, right? You can't go 2-0 up against Liverpool and West Ham and draw the game. You can't be 2-0 down to Southampton at the Emirates. You can't do that. If you want a title race, don't have them results in your fixture list because it can't happen. So for me, we already threw it away. I said to you 3, I said on my previews, I said on all the shows I've done, we are not beating Man City. They will beat us. I always believed they'd beat us anyway. My predictions in my head believed that Arsenal could have won the title with losing that game. So why would I then believe that we haven't beaten Southampton, West Ham or Liverpool, but what, now I just magically believe we're going to turn it around? Well, this City side at the moment, I said it to you offline. This City side right now, in my opinion, is the best I've seen it in a very, very long time. Going back to the Centurions years and all those years, right? This is an absolute lethal side.
This is another thing.
I think we're going to win 3-1 all of a sudden. It ain't going to happen.
They are good as the Centurions.
Yeah,
I think they are.
This is what you lot are doing as well. This is another thing of trying to just say that, oh, Man City are just so good. They're unstoppable and they're this and they're that. To try and deflect from the fact that you've bottled it. Yes, they are a good side, but you were in the driving seat.
I didn't say we haven't bottled it. I've been one saying
that they were going to be Centurions this season.
No. I said they'd be better than that team that as the Centurions. For me, winning a treble, I think they'll win the treble. That's better than getting 100 points in my opinion. So I think they will go down as one of the best ever. I think they'll beat Man United in the FA Cup final. They'll win the league. And I don't see Real Madrid getting past them. I just don't. I think they're a good side. They've got a great heritage in that competition. But I think Man City will win that and then beat Inter or Messi in the final. So for me, I think they'll do the treble. And they will go down as the better treble season than 99, in my opinion, because I think they've obliterated everybody. They've got record-breaking strikers in their sides. They've got the best manager ever. For me, they'll be the greatest Prem team of all time. And if we've come second to that, then sometimes you have to hold your hands and say, you know what, we slipped up. They've come in and they deserve it. We don't deserve it.
No.
Right, what am I supposed to say then? What am I supposed to say then? City don't deserve it. City don't deserve it. We do. What do you want me to say?
Do deserve it. They absolutely do. But what you're going to do is you're going to sit down, you're going to shut up, and you're going to let us tell you about your club.
Ask me questions then. I'm ready. I'm ready for these questions.
Know about Man.
We're not asking, we're telling.
We're not asking questions, we're telling you. The same way you tell us and tell me that Spurs are shit and I take it, we're telling you about your club. We already know how good Man City are. We've known that all season. And your fans told us, we believe we're going to win the league. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Your fan said that. You might not have said it, but you believe that you're going to win the league.
A certain prominent Arsenal fan is still saying they can win it, which is hilarious.
Exactly. Robbie's still out here.
That should be done.
Robbie's still out here cashing teams that
he don't believe it. He hopes he don't believe it.
Trying to cash checks that your team can't deliver, bro. Trying to cash checks that are being written by your team, and clearly they can't deliver on the football pitch at this point in time. Why? Because in the last 3 or 4 matches, you guys have collapsed. You've collapsed, right? Man City are great, yes, but you rightly put yourselves in a position to compete with Man City and potentially go on to win this title. I can forgive you even getting hammered by Man City because it's Man City. They, like you said, they are one of the best teams we've seen in the Premier League. as it stands, this Pep dynasty. I can even forgive you for being 2-0 up against Liverpool and not winning the game. Why? Because they put the fear of God into you and they threw the kitchen sink at you. I can understand that. I think most attempts they've had this season, blah, blah, blah. What can't be forgiven is dropping points at home to 20th place Southampton. You conceded 3 goals against 20th place. Don't care what you said. We are telling you.
I'm debating.
You can shake your head on
You're just going to copy what I said and make me listen to it.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I'm doing 8 miles on that spots. No.
The more you keep interrupting, the harder this is going to be for you. So you better sit down and take your punishment.
I'll go on mute.
Yeah, you better go on mute. That's what I thought. Put that shit on mute. Yeah. And then West Ham. Yeah. You have spent all season telling Lawless how shit his club are. You spent all season telling Lawless how shit West Ham are. And so have I. So have I. Don't worry, it's not just you. You were 2-0 up at their ground. You even had a penalty at 2-1 up to go and ice the game. And somehow you've come out of that with a 2-2 draw. You have absolutely collapsed.
How are these two cooking?
Yeah. Me and Lawless, we've done a ceasefire because you need to get cooked. You must get cooked. If you just waltzing through London Club's carnage and race for Europe and always acting like you're Teflon. You're not Teflon, right? You and your team, you've bottled it. So you better hold that. Yeah?
You are pure firewood right now, Potts. You are pure firewood, yeah? And that fire is getting hotted up because this is the thing, Potts, right? Man City, whatever you want to say about how great they are, they've had their attention divided. You talked about, how they're going to go and win the treble. Yeah, so they've been competing on at least 3 fronts, right? They obviously went out the Carabao in the end, but they're in a FA Cup final. They're going into a semi-final for the Champions League and the league. You went out of everything early and was like, oh, it's all right. We get to focus on the league. Like, it's the same way last season. It don't matter that we got knocked out of the cups. Remember when you got knocked out to Nottingham Forest last season, yeah? In the FA Cup. Oh, it's okay because we can focus on getting top 4. And again, it's happened again. And you've gone out of the cups. It's okay. We can focus on winning the league. Once again, you bottled it with one competition to focus on. Potts, you're underestimating how bad.
Have you seen the stat? You saw that stat I put on the Big Six, right? What's team in Premier League history.
Oh, yeah.
At the top, as long as Arsenal have been this season and have failed to win the league title. And then the 2 sides previously beneath that were Arsenal in 07-08 and Arsenal in 02-03 in terms of being at the top for the longest, right? Remember the criticism on Spurs. You finished third in a 2-horse race. Oh, all the great football. Oh, you've had your best period in your Spurs life. You ain't won nothing. Remember that? Yep. Remember that? Do you remember the talk that they had at points this season? Oh, let's compare this team to the Invincibles. This team's on course to get more points than the Invincibles. Oh, this is probably one of the greatest Arsenal signs we've seen in the Premier League. And what have they got to show for it? Wasn't this the exact same criticism they used to give Spurs? Wasn't this the exact same criticism they used to give Tottenham? Oh, your bottle jobs. All of this good football for nothing. Yeah? Isn't that what they used to call him?
If I'm to chime in, you guys, you have got nothing to show for this, Potts. Has that sunk in yet for you that you're literally walking out of this season after all of that with absolutely nothing, and you have to start again next season from scratch, not knowing whether or not are you gonna continue this? Are you gonna be able to go again?
Greatest season in 15 years, yeah, or more. Probably like 19 years or something since the Invincibles. Your greatest season, and you're ending it with nothing. Let that sink in.
You want me to come in? Does anyone else want to go?
No, go on.
Go on. Let's hear what you have to say for yourself.
Of course it's sunk in, right? That's the first question or the last question you asked. So I was one who did not want to go out of all the cups because I felt like the Europa League was there to be had. I can understand why the League Cup or the domestic cups are difficult, and Manchester City are still in them, and they've got the squad to compete. But I felt with them being out of a competition that we're not in the Europa League, that we should have gone for that one. Right now, we won't know whether it was going to do anything against us or for us. The bottom line is this squad is not strong enough, because when Saliba goes out the team, we're completely different. Now, how a 21-year-old centre-back can be that important is beyond me. Well, Lawless is still working out to see whether he's good enough or not for Arsenal. I think that case has been closed. He's important, more than important.
Well, now, is Arteta good enough to adapt? That's the question. That's the question when this 21-year-old.
No, he hasn't been. No, he hasn't been in the last few games for me. And that's gone under the carpet because of how well he's done in the last 30 games. The last 4 for me, I ain't been impressed, bro. I can't lie. I don't really know why we set up the way that we did at Man City. I certainly don't know why we didn't change it when we were 2-1 down at half-time and we came out with the same lineup. I was like, with Turkish, like, what's happening here? Like, what are we actually doing? He hasn't tried to change a formation. He hasn't tried personnel changes. He's stuck with Rob Holding. Now, it ain't just Rob Holding, by the way, right? I know he's not Saliba and you can have a go at how poor he is, right? But actually, there's been a lot of games there's been a lot of players that deserve a lot of stick, not just Rob Holding, right? I don't think Zinchenko. Huh?
I said, now we're talking.
You disagree? Go on then.
No, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I just thought you were going to hit me with the usual Arsenal narrative. Oh, it's Rob Holding's fault for everything, isn't it?
I've literally just said that isn't the case. So
talk on Thomas Partey.
Thomas Partey. He's been poor. Thomas Partey, TTT hard has been not partying hard. No. He's been poor. Zinchenko poor. Erdegaard, I don't know when he's going to turn up in a top 6 game away from home. Still waiting.
Jesus isn't beating these Lacazette allegations either.
Listen, I brought this up, but I was muddied. I was told I was talking nonsense. That Jesus, shut up. He's your best player. He's been scoring goals. I've been seeing him being wasteful, and I thought he was poor against City. So I think that there is concerns about him. Are we better with Jesus since he's come back? Stats would say no. Our play would suggest yes in parts, but Trossard's out of this side, and he's got player of the month. I haven't seen him yet. Player of the month for March, and he's just being brought on for a few minutes. Bad decision against Southampton playing Vieira, who, in my opinion, ain't going to make it an Arsenal shirt. Then we've not for me, man. He's not for me, man. I don't know what you three think, but
people will say that Joe Willock could have contributed.
I liked Joe Willock, but I don't think that he was going to be a starter for Arsenal either. Nah, I think he's a good player, and I hope he does well at Newcastle, and he has done. But
do you remember that big debate you and I had, Potts, on, I think it was Race for Europe, about Nketiah, and should Jesus just retake his place back and should Nketiah dash to the side? Yeah. There we go.
I still agree with what I said though, because I still don't think that Eddie. It got to the stage where Eddie did need to come out of the side, and he did in the end for Trossard, and we were killing it. So we ended up beating Fulham quite comfortably without Jesus with Trossard. We went a few games without Jesus where we played Trossard instead of Eddie, and we were looking good, man. And for me, Trossard coming out of the side, I don't know that it's been the right thing to do. Saka, like, I love him, man. I won't have a bad word said about him, but when he's had a bad game, just seems to keep playing. Just seems to keep leaving him on or keep bringing him back into the side. So I don't know about you guys. Maybe everyone will point to me and go, oh my God, Dan hates Arteta so much. He's got such an agenda. I don't see why we can't criticize the manager in the last 4 games. I don't think his in-game management has been good. I don't think his team selections have always worked. And I don't think his substitutions have made any sense. We've seen them all get bit part games. Kivior gets flung on at Anfield. I haven't seen him since. Smith Rowe decides to come on the Etihad. He hasn't played for God knows how long. I see Vieira start. He doesn't even get a game then at the Etihad because he wasn't good enough. There just seems to be that he's just throwing on bit part players. So to me, it proves the squad's still not there, still not ready. We have a great first 11. And I remember saying, I think it was on this one or it might have been on my channel, that do you think Arsenal win the title? And I said, yeah. I said, if we keep this 11 fit, I think we've got a great chance. And we've seen already that without this first 11 fit, it just goes to pieces when 1 or 2 parts are missing. So for me, it's been poor. I don't understand why Kieran Tierney's not gotten more game time for me. Played against West Ham and everyone slated him, but then everyone hypes up Zinchenko, who's been just as bad, if not worse, in the last few games. Every single goal has come down that side because he's not been defensively solid. So I think that can be coming to question marks with the manager as well. So I get it, man. I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say. We threw
And
it away. We bottled it. It's done.
I just think with this situation it's ironic that you haven't even thrown it away against City. You played City 3 times this season. You've lost all 3.
Thank you, Matisse. That's what my point
that
was.
Is not even where the title was decided. The title was
People
decided
are laughing
in
at the
winnable games.
Etihad result. It's already done. It was done before then. We could have beaten them 8-0, and I still think we would have threw it away because I don't think we'll beat Newcastle.
No.
I don't even know that I'm convinced we'll beat Brighton at home because
I think if you would have beat Man City, that would have boosted the players. That would have
but do you think, Lawless, if it would have boosted, do you feel okay? Let me ask you. Arsenal beat Man City the other night. Are you still having us to win the title?
No.
If you beat Man City,
I've never had you.
What does it matter?
I've never had you once. I'm not gonna lie.
I think that could have been a momentum shift. I'm not saying that you definitely win it.
Do you think we'll beat Newcastle away?
Nope. Not now. No.
If we beat Man City, I was meaning.
But confidence is low. If you beat Man City, I think you have a better chance because I think confidence looks low right now.
Do you guys think tomorrow is still 100% they're gonna beat? Because I'm speaking to Arsenal fans at the studio. Cecil's telling me they're nervous. Then
If Chelsea, nervous. I've said this.
I think we'll beat Chelsea.
If Cecil to put on his t-shirt again. If he's nervous,
Arteta needs to be sacked
as well.
What is he doing there, by the way? Jesus.
Yes, I love it.
But yeah, I think we will beat Chelsea. Chelsea look terrible. We need to bounce back at home. It's the best game. Mind you, I said all this when we had Southampton at home. This is the best game for us to have. Beat Southampton, go into the next game. I'm the same with that with Chelsea. At the moment, Arsenal can be got at. We've conceded 7 goals in the last few games, right? 11 now with the Man City game as well. So we're easy to score against, but Chelsea likewise are easy to score against and can't score many goals. So
can't score. If you can't beat us tomorrow or today when this is going out,
well, it proves we've given up. It proves we've given up if that don't happen, in my opinion.
That will be the next level of embarrassment because
that would be worse than the Southampton result. Like if you lose to Chelsea, that's worse than drawing.
You're having that. You probably agree.
I am having that. Yeah, I am. We lost at home to Southampton. We are awful. We cannot. We've lost like 5. What is it? 4 out of the last 5. We're on form. One of the worst teams in the league.
Stat about since Roy Hodgson has come back, he's already got like more points or more wins.
We're behind Palace. We're level on points with Bournemouth. 39 points still, and that's Toby still on 39 points. Tobs. I'm still here. I'm still here in the first day of May. I'm still here waiting for these 40 points.
You must.
So
that's why I'm pissed about the Palace game because I really want to finish above Chelsea. I just want that little.
Don't worry, you'll have your opportunities, right? Palace.
You still might.
Yeah. Listen, East London is next. People are talking to me about Partey coming into the team, but playing at centre back instead of Holding. No. People are talking to me about Tierney coming in, Jorginho coming in. Are you making these big changes to the lineup?
I would change it.
Trossard as well. Trossard.
I would change it potentially, but if I was to make changes, it would be if you want to do a formation change. I don't know why we would need to do that against Chelsea, but if he wants to make a formation change, then it'd have to be to go with White, Gabriel, and Tierney as a back 3, and then have Zinchenko and Saka as your kind of wing backs, and then go with Partey and Xhaka, and then your front 3 of Ødegaard, Martinelli, and Jesus. If you don't want to do that because you feel against Chelsea it'd be a bit silly to go back 3, then you could just put Zinchenko at right back. Left back Tierney, and then obviously Gabriel and White together at the back. So it depends what you want to do. Thomas Partey, for me, it wouldn't surprise me if Mikel Arteta just decides to change it a little bit in personnel because Thomas Partey looks like he doesn't deserve to be playing. Jorginho can come in there because he doesn't deserve to be playing. So nobody could say why is Partey because he's been poor. Saka looks like he needs a rest. So if Trossard comes in, I don't think anybody would sit there and be like, wow, throw their arms up in the air. Zinchenko, likewise, if Tierney come in, I don't think anyone can question that one. So yeah, I don't think there's any guaranteed starters at the moment because of how poor we've been playing. But they're the 2 things that you could tinker with. So it'd be interesting to see what the team is, man.
For me, going into this game, right, I'm on my last legs with this team, with this manager. I can't wait for the season to end. And I have you guys to win that game comfortably, purely because you actually know how to play football, right? You guys know how you want to play football. You know exactly what you want to do in terms of your jobs, your roles, your responsibilities. There is chemistry in the team. Even though you've been free-falling, in the last 4 games, you should be able to respond at home and make this title race, which is not a title race anymore, in my opinion, but at least end the season on a strong note, so it doesn't go into a Man City 10-point lead and look embarrassing when it's all said and done, when the table's done 38 games.
That would be awful. If they go like 10, 12 points clear of us, that is a proper shock.
We've been playing 3-6-1s and 3-5-2s, and that's been quite.
I don't even think Denny. You know what, Potts? I think you guys are leaking goals, but generally speaking, I do think he needs to change. Needs to tweak the team, but I don't think it needs to be a drastic change. I think, like you said, so if you want to maybe go to a 2-man midfield with Odegaard, maybe play Thomas Partey alongside Jorginho, and then play Odegaard in 10, or drop one of the attackers for Trossard. I think you're beating Chelsea no matter what. I think you're beating Chelsea no matter what. It's the perfect tonic, right? It's the perfect.
They look awful, man.
It's the perfect pick-me-up for you guys after such a bad run of form. You get your easy 3 points against what looks like a terrible team. This team, and I'm going to say it on the Big Six as well, this team will go down in history as, in my opinion, the worst performing team I've ever seen of any sort of top 4 or top 6 challenging side. With everything they've thrown, yeah, absolutely. With everything they've thrown at their squad and what they've served up, this has to be the worst. You can't name me a worse performance. You can't. You can't name me a worse performing season from a supposedly top.
He doesn't even care. He's just agreeing.
Impossible.
He's spot on. The team is 12th. The team has not hit 40 points.
I just never thought that sentence would
absolutely
be together,
tear into them. This team were at home to Brentford, and they lost 2-0 to a Brentford team that barely even really had to do anything. They didn't even do anything special. Brentford just came into Stamford Bridge with a formation, with a normal setup, and with the intention of trying to get a couple of goals and being solid across the pitch, and that's what they did, and they walked away with their 3 points. They didn't have to try. They didn't have to do anything special.
Power shift in West London, man.
Mbeumo was on the bench, so spot on. It's absolutely spot on. It's the worst performing top team in history that I can remember, especially in this league. I don't know about other leagues, but I'm staying with this league 100%. Even when Liverpool were at their worst, they finished 8th. When Man United were at their worst, they finished 7th. Arsenal 8th, on the cusp of European football at least. Chelsea are in the bottom half, and I called this fixture the clash of the two teams trying to get back to the top of the tables. Our table be in the bottom half, and your table be in the top half. So that's what it is. We're both second, right? So it's a big game. Big game.
We're both second.
You're embarrassing.
Still, if you win this pot, Matisse, this has got a, it gives you it's not going to really.
Listen, I'll be shameless across a couple of platforms for a day or two, but it doesn't really change anything for me. Let's be real.
I think if you somehow win this, you might as well just rip up that Pochettino offer, get a new contract.
Shut up.
Let him put whatever number he wants on that contract.
Stop your foolishness. No,
and sign it.
No.
Because Chelsea will be back.
What's wrong with that, Matisse? Chelsea are back. No.
Is this Poch thing even done? Like, what? I haven't heard anything.
Listen, it is going to get done.
Is Nutty Todd going to piss him off? And he's going to say, actually, no.
From what I can see, it's expected to get announced after the Arsenal game, but maybe the day after, or maybe a couple of days after. But
it's coming in next season, yeah, not this season.
Yeah, not this season, and it's very. Like Poch, everybody was saying Poch was a yes man. According to reports, Poch is not having Todd Boehly come into the changing room after games. He says that's one of the things that is not happening when he comes in. That's one of the sticking points, one of the big conversations. So there's clearly a lot of back and forth going, and a lot of terms and conditions that need to be aligned before anything gets wrapped up, because there's certain things that we've been doing this season that literally can never happen again. It's been an absolute joke. I think
he's
a circus.
I told you this, Todd guy, terrible Todd. It's fucking nuts.
But the thing is with Todd is that although he started off in a terrible, historically record-breaking way, I don't think this is how I expect him to be going forward. I do think people are going to actually start to not warm up to him, but I think people will start to be like, okay, yeah, he's not that bad. Like in the next couple of years, they're going to start to maybe see what he wanted to implement from the beginning. The problem is, like I said, is that he's tried to do it all too soon. He's tried to do it all from the beginning. He hasn't been cautious or waited or tried to, keep a few faces that are familiar with the team and the club behind the scenes. He's just ripped everything up from the get-go and gone straight in. Now, if that means you only sacrifice this season and then the seasons coming up are actually back to the level of respectable performance, then and we go back to trying to win the top honors, then fair enough. It's not going to be, obviously historically, it's still going to stand out. It's not going to be a big deal. If it doesn't improve, then it's a problem. But for the short term, you guys should be winning this game. And if you don't beat us, if you get us on 40 points, fuck, you guys are done with the season.
You're lucky you can't be relegated, by the way. You're lucky you can't be relegated.
We are lucky.
If you were closer, wow. If you didn't have
we would be relegated. We would be relegated.
They're pathetic.
We would be relegated.
Probably deserves a statue for that, actually, because he's the only reason you're in this league. Let's be real. You'd be down.
Let's move, man. Let's move. We got these two teams to talk about. We've only got 25 minutes. Come on.
We need to discuss. We need to discuss what happened at Anfield. Let's be real, because that was a meme match. We had Van Dijk. The first half. That guy got absolutely destroyed at halftime all over social media. And I thought, wow, it can't really get much worse than that. Tottenham 3 goals again inside the first 20 minutes. I saw Tobs losing it. People are walking out the stadium again, looking for refunds, looking for this time. This time, travel expenses are looking to be covered instead of last time. And you're thinking to yourself at Anfield, wow, this has really gone horribly wrong. But then Liverpool shut down. They literally pressed the shutdown button on Windows, and Tottenham pretty much took over from that moment on. But Tobes, what was that last couple of minutes like for you, bro? Because it was shambolic from a certain bonehead.
Yeah, man. So I guess maybe I should talk about the whole game, right? Because I felt like we have done all season, we just give ourselves the worst possible start to games. Like we don't give ourselves time to even sort of like get a feel of the game or compose ourselves, etc. We literally just automatically just put ourselves at a disadvantage, and we did that with aplomb. Anfield, man, I just don't understand this team's ability to just be idiots. Like we've got a serious pandemic of bozos all over the football pitch, and it's scary. Like in midfield, in defense, like even every goal Liverpool scored was avoidable. Like it was absolutely avoidable, and yet here we are, 3-0 down in 15 minutes. I mean, the first goal, no one really closes down Trent Alexander-Arnold for the cross, but Pedro Porro, again, I've spoken about him, and I'll speak about him in a good way towards the end of it, but at the start of it, again, defensively, we've conceded so many goals as of late on the right-hand side because I don't think this guy is a good defender. I think he's a bad defender. I think he's a bad defender, and he just doesn't really.
He's Royal better than him defensively.
Royal is way better than him defensively. That's not even a contest. Emerson Royal is not. I've been saying this throughout. Emerson Royal is actually a decent defender. That defending is not Emerson's issue. Emerson's issue is the fact that he's not a real footballer when he gets into the opposition half, which annoyingly is that's Pedro Porro's strong point. But Porro doesn't even know what's behind him. In Curtis Jones, easy goal, 1-0, great cross from Trent. Second goal, Eric Dyer flying out of position, God knows where he is. Gakpo gets in behind him, and then he's trying to recover. It's too late. Romero goes side to Luis Diaz, and Luis Diaz just gets in ahead of him and scores. To be fair, Liverpool's first 2 goals were two really good goals. I think avoidable, but that finish from Diaz, ridiculous finish. I feel like to get it in from that angle, great finish. But the third goal, oh my days, man. The third goal, listen, Romero is a bozo. It's already been established. Like I think he's a really good player, but he's a bozo. But let me tell you why this team are just busted, because everyone's going to look at that goal and say, oh my God, Romero, he's cost Spurs, he's this, he's that. Yeah, he has cost Spurs again, but nobody sees what happened in the lead up to that goal. Eric Dyer flies out of his position yet again. Watch that goal back again.
I've seen it. Yeah,
he flies out of his position thinking he's this auxiliary midfielder, doesn't get the ball, completely wipes out Mo Salah, and he just leaves acres of space for Gakpo to get the ball, and Romero is stupid. I don't know why he has to go to ground like that in the box, but he's left the man stranded. And
he's been awful this season, Romero, man. For someone
he's been
talked up, are we seeing really what Romero's about now?
He's been poor, man.
Yeah, from early in the season, we was hearing, do you know what? We just need a good centre back next to Romero, and really, it's looking at it and you go, well, if you really want to go anywhere, you need to be replacing that guy too.
No, we need a good centre back next to Romero.
Romero is looking like a very rash centre back. That I don't know about this guy.
He will cost you games. Yeah,
he's really starting to. I'm starting to think. Not too sure about him.
No, that's fine. Go on.
What was that? Like, why would you do that? That penalty was unnecessary. There's just no need to dive in. Like, he's meant to be the senior, high quality, World Cup experienced defender. Like, I know he's still youngish, but
is he really experienced though? He's not a leader. He's 24. He's 24, 25 years old. How experienced is he?
You'll find out, Tobs, if you get this calm head next to him, what he's like. Because if he's still a bozo, then you're going to have to just accept he's a bozo.
No. But I've already accepted he's a bozo. That's what I said. Romero is a bozo, but it doesn't mean he's a bad defender. Like, we're pretending that we haven't seen the very best defenders make erratic decisions in football games. Like, that is a part of his game.
He's making them way too often, though.
He's making them way too often because, one, he's out of form this season as a whole, and two, he's playing in an unsettled back line. Right? I've just given you two examples of the 2 goals we conceded. 2 examples of the 2 goals he conceded. That was the only foul he committed in the game. Can you imagine? For someone who's so rash, that was the only foul he committed in the game. And of course, it's a fake one.
But he's a positioning as well. Like, I think he don't get enough credit for the blame for that second goal as well. I think he was poor for the second. It was the second goal.
Go on.
Yeah. No, I believe it was the second goal, wasn't it? Where he's caught out of position.
I don't think he was caught out of position. I think he's already goal side on Diaz. It's Dyer that's caught out of position to let Gakpo behind.
By the way, Romero was poor. Dyer is absolute shout. I cannot believe this guy's still playing for Spurs in the first team. This guy is so bad. And every time I was mentioning it, Spurs fans would go, get off his back. He's been our best centre back this year. Keep him then. Stop complaining. Keep him in goal. Keep Loris in goal. Keep Dyer at the back. Like, I'm trying to tell you they're not good enough and you're going nowhere with them. And all these Spurs fans keep doing is crying at me, telling me, how great they are. Keep them in the side then. And what's happened this season? Dyer's been an absolute shambles and Loris has been a flop. It's mad. Like Romero, for me, I'm kind of not. If I was Tobes, I wouldn't be ready to give up on him because I've seen enough quality in certain games. And I think, Gabriel, for me, next to Saliba, he's got that calm head. He makes some bozo moments. He makes some crazy decisions. But actually, for me, next to Saliba looks okay. When you take Saliba out the side, Gabriel all of a sudden looks a bit shaky. So it is about partnerships in football is massively key. But if Romero gets that centre-back partner and still looks like this, then you're going to start to say, yeah, fair play. Exactly. Maybe it's great. That's what I would do.
A point you've made, Potts, right? Gabriel is a perfect example. And I do believe at this point in time, Gabriel is a better centre-back than Romero. And I actually think Gabriel's on form. I know his form has tailed off recently, but I actually think Gabriel's been the best performing centre-back in the league this season, in my opinion.
Agreed. Really?
Gabriel's a good, I think so, yeah.
But
Gabriel's a perfect example of someone having to overcompensate for their partner's frailties, right? When Saliba's there, he doesn't have to overextend. And then when you compare it to when Holding's there, he's having to do way more work because Holding just isn't good enough. He's having to do way more work. And Romero, first and foremost, as I've already said, he's had a poor season. Absolutely, he deserves criticism. But I also think people need to understand that our defense is completely a mess. It's unsettled. And more often than not, when he's not doing stupidity on the football pitch, Romero, he's having to overcompensate for people who aren't pressing, for people who are for people who are out of position, right? And I actually think Pedro Porro and Romero at this point in time is there's too much bozoness on that side of the pitch. There's too much. Do you get what I'm saying? Romero can defend, but is rash. Pedro Porro can't defend and doesn't really know what's going on around him. We need a bit of stability.
It ain't just your defense, though, Tobs. Like in midfield, I know Oliver Skip was looking better. Højbjerg hasn't been good for a while, in my opinion.
He's been awful. You've hit the nail on the head. And this is what I'm saying. As a team, we are just bad defensively. Our midfield gets bypassed. We play the two-man midfield, and in the two-man midfield, our midfielders barely want to pass the ball. Højbjerg is getting bypassed. It's just bad. It's bad. And it just puts Spurs in a bad position because as you saw yesterday, and as you saw against Man United, this much maligned attack that everyone keeps telling us is overrated, they're not that good, they're not this, they're not that. How many chances are we creating against these teams? We created enough chances to get a W against Man United, and we created more than enough chances at Anfield to have gone out of there.
Ryan Mason.
You got to give
Ryan Mason.
Yeah, I'm going to give him credit. I'm going to give him credit. I'm going to give Ryan Mason credit because I think Ryan Mason, as simple as it is, Ryan Mason's been able to help us rediscover what we're actually good at, which is attacking teams. Like, this is what we should be doing. We're good at doing this. The best part of our team is the attack. Even with Kulusevski not playing well, even with Richarlison only on 1 goal in the Premier League, etc., our attack is our strength. And Son has now got 4 in these last 5 Premier League matches. Son is barely receiving the ball in those stupid positions he was under Conte and Stellini, where we try and get him to receive the ball in his own half and stuff. You're noticing now, when he's receiving the ball, he's further up the pitch. Yesterday, when he smacked the post with that shot, where was he?
Hit the post twice.
Hit the post, running off his last man. And then
too late for me. He's coming to form way too late, man.
Lawless, you're not worried about your bet, Lawless. He's starting to.
Oh yeah. Do you know what? That's true. Actually, like Hairline might just ease up and. What was it? Son's gonna score.
Hairline ease up, no chance.
30 goals. But you know what, Tobs, man. I want you to talk to me about this flipping red card decision that wasn't given, because I looked at it and even I was saying, like, Errol weren't having it. He was like, no lad, what you talking about? I mean, that's a hype. I see one Liverpool fan say that he headbutted his foot.
Errol, I've realized that Errol is one of the most biased Liverpool fans out there. Like, there's no getting through to someone like Errol. Like, there really isn't. However, I do think that was a red card offense, but I'm not going to moan about that challenge, because I think Skip also had one in the first half that should have been a red card.
I think both were, if I'm honest.
Exactly, both. So it's either both get sent off or neither get sent off. So that's why I'm not really kicking up a fuss. However, that was a red card offense.
That's high.
That's a red card offense.
High foot is an understatement, man. You can't do that,
busted his head open, and man, people are saying that's not a red card. In what world is it not a red card? It's crazy. It's crazy.
When you get fly kicked in the head, I think red card is pretty fair. I don't know about this whole Skip. People are telling me Skip should have been sent off as well before. I'm not. Do you think it was definitely a red? I think it's borderline. I think it could have been a yellow.
I think it's a red. Yeah, I think it's a red.
Yeah. It's not as much of a red as the one.
Not as clear cut as the other one.
Yeah, it's not as clear cut, but they both weren't given. But this is how poor the whole thing is. But yeah, man, I know you want to have your rant about Lucas Moura. All I have to say is I watched it back.
Why did he come on for Pedro Porro in the first place?
Why is he still there?
Pedro Porro is really good going forward.
Because Mason made a mistake. And that's why I said for all the good Mason's done, I feel like I'm not really happy with his last substitution in both these games he's managed, right? He did well in changing the shape against Man United, and we got it to 2-2. And then when it looked like we actually had our foot on their necks, he brings on Tanganga and takes off Son. And that completely killed off the momentum we had, the attacking momentum we had. And then in this game at Anfield, I literally said it on DR Sports, I rate the fact that he's actually going for this game. Fair play to him. But I don't want to see Lucas Moura on this pitch. I don't want to see you coming on. Danjuma, yes. Richarlison, yes. Lucas Moura, no. I don't want to see this guy coming on. And what makes it worse is he was bringing on Lucas Moura to play wing back, which is Pedro Porro's natural position. That's what I'm saying. In a period where Pedro Porro's influence on the game was good. We were getting the ball to Pedro Porro and he was causing problems. He was causing Liverpool a lot of problems when he was getting high up the pitch. I don't understand.
He hit the post as well, or the crossbar.
Yeah, why is Lucas Moura coming on? So that one,
he's shit, man. He's been how he's been shit for ages. I know that he got you to a final of the Champions League, blah blah blah. But
don't tell me about that final that happened. Don't tell me about no final that happened 4 years ago. This guy's been at the club for 5 years. He's had one good season. In that one good season, he scored a memorable hat-trick. That's not good enough for me to be saying, for you to be shit for 80% of your Spurs career and me say, oh my God, no, he scored. That's why Jermaine Genius was tweeting that nonsense as well.
I saw that,
I said, people like you are the reason why we can't move on. People like you are the reason why we can't move on. I saw people consoling him at full time. Why are you consoling him? You should be slapping his damn head. You should be slapping his head. Genuinely. Man are consoling and giving him hugs. No, slap his bald head. Slap his head. Because the last time he came on, he cost Spurs. And then Liverpool, he comes on, he cost Spurs. This guy, you're literally offering us the opposite of what a super sub is. He's a negative sub. Like, what's the opposite of a super sub? A stinky sub. I don't know.
It was funny though, like having Richie lad, not Richarlison, Richie lad coming on and scoring, and like, I mean, what a disaster he's had.
At least he's got his goal now. Tobs,
luckily that one counted. And then he does that.
Can't even enjoy it.
Celebration like this.
And he's there shushing the Liverpool crowd as well.
Yeah, bro. Because
brilliant.
Richie's a shit house, and I love it. And the thing is, he's had a shit season, but I still believe that Richarlison is going to score goals for Spurs. I do. Maybe not this season, but I believe.
The case is how many goals. Of course, he's going to score goals.
No, I think he's going to. I think
have scored goals.
I think he will be a double figures goals type player for Spurs. I believe that in the league.
Without Kane in the side, he might play more.
I believe that. Yeah, I genuinely believe a new coach. I believe a new coach who's actually who wants to get his hands dirty and put players in positions where they can influence games the most. I think he'll get more out of Richarlison, because Richarlison is not as bad as this. And the funny thing is, he's getting a lot of stick on social media. You can bash him on his season, but in the context of that game, he came on and he did his job. He came on and he did his job, which is more than I can say.
It's just funny. It's just funny that he scored 3 goals, taken his shirt off for 2 of them, got booked for all 3 of them, and none of them have come to anything. It's just, oh man, it's beautiful
jarring,
for me.
Man. It's jarring.
Beautiful.
Lawless, we better get to your game as well before we come to an end, because you guys don't listen. We need to shout out to Roy, because it is London club's carnage, and Palace have been ridiculous under him. The way this team are just, I don't know how they're blamming, as Toby says, they're blamming teams right now. They're getting goals. I don't know where they're getting them from, because this is a team that under Patrick Vieira are really struggling. Maybe the fixture list has helped them a little bit, but I think Roy just deserves his credit. 3 wins out of last 5, 4 goals against West Ham there. What was it like, Lawless, to have to come up against them? Because you're in 15th now. You're probably a win away, maybe win and a draw away from safety. It's not Moyes. It's not Moyes' fault, is it? That Roy's just got Elise cooking and all these guys. Are you going to go back to getting angry at Moyes after how shameless you've been in the last couple of weeks?
No, of course it's Moyes' fault. Of course it's Moyes' fault. His substitutions were an absolute joke.
It's always Moyes when it goes on.
Look, the players are going to get their due, yeah, but I'm not sitting there.
I didn't see you praise Moyes really the last couple of weeks. It was Paqueta you was talking about a lot. He wasn't talking about Moyes. So why now?
Listen, I'm just saying, like, when I look at that game, his substitutions were a joke. An absolute joke. The players that he took off, like taking off Paqueta, leaving on Souček. Yeah, I know Souček got a goal and 2 assists, but all we had was set pieces. We weren't able to get hold of the midfield, and we needed.
Wait. I want to ask you a question.
Oh, here we go.
Because I was watching that game intermittently, right? So you can imagine my shock. You can imagine my shock that Souček, who scored 1 and supposedly assisted 2, still had negative reviews. How is that possible?
Listen.
No, I thought he dropped a masterclass.
That's a masterclass.
He gave one away. He actually gave one of the goals away. That was all very similar to like the Newcastle game, except we were worse in this game in that we had shocking defensive errors. Cost us the game. Everyone had a bad game. Yeah. We can take fatigue. We can say fatigue is a factor, right? Of course we can. We've played 9 games this month, right? You have to accept that as a possibility, but I'm not just going to simply put that down to that. We didn't. There was a lack of desire, a lack of work rate. I'm sorry. Leave everything on the pitch. I want you coughing up, throwing up on the pitch at the end of it. Whatever you need to do, because those 3 points were massive. It was huge. This is what I've said to people, like other fans that simply go, "Oh, it's fatigue. It's fine. It's no big deal." If it's no big deal, how do we overcome that? Because we're still playing 2 games a week up until near the end of the month. So you're being all blasé, like, yeah, it's fine, it's fatigue. It's a big issue. This is why, to me, Wednesday, B team against Man City. Play the B team.
B team.
Yes. I want you to rest every first
Do you
team.
realize how much you're going to get shafted?
You're close
up?
to the relegation, man.
You're going to get destroyed if you play
Listen,
B team.
we're not winning that game, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you need to be embarrassed. That's going to do
No.
madness for the morale of the team.
Pep's gonna play a B team. Well, I know it's still their B team is still, amazing. But you're not going to see no De Bruyne. You probably won't see Haaland. You probably won't see.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive. He's got it because he needs to do it with the games that they've got coming.
So you're
up.
saying rest it for Wednesday and then what? Play the strong team when against Man United?
Against Man United, because Man United is winnable. It's a winnable game.
I actually don't think it's a madness thing to say, if I'm honest, because
I'm just saying if they get slapped up 6-7-0, what's that gonna do? Is that gonna help going into Manchester United? And don't tell me that you're not gonna lose 7-0 because Man City with Haaland against your B team. If you're talking about a proper B team,
Haaland's not gonna play. I'm telling you, he might come on as a sub.
He's going for more records.
Does Pep not need to rest these two players?
I think Pep wants to really extend. Listen, Arsenal are most likely going to beat Chelsea on Tuesday. That means Arsenal will be back on the top of the Premier League. So who's to say that Pep's going to rest players when they're going to be looking to go back on top again? They've got West Ham, and then their next game is Leeds at home. Why would they not rest for Leeds? Leeds are awful. One of the worst teams in the league. So why would he rest for you? Why would he rest for you guys?
Because
and play his strongest team for Leeds when they have Real Madrid after
his
that?
B team
Makes more sense.
Yeah. No, because his B team can slap our A team. He doesn't.
Yeah, but his B team can slap Leeds even harder. It makes more sense, if anything, to play your strongest team against West Ham, rest against Leeds, and then go strong again against Real Madrid.
Our record, I'm telling you, Leeds have a better chance of getting something there.
No, they don't. No,
they do. I promise you. It ain't happening.
Leeds are at the Etihad.
Leeds are awful. At the Etihad, they are dreadful.
Leeds are getting battered, Lawless. What are you talking about?
I'm not going to the fucking Etihad, right? Playing our fatigued players just to lose 2-0, 3-0. No, what's the point?
You don't have to go. You can stay at home, mate. You don't have to go.
No, I'm saying I'm not
Lawless,
accepting that.
I thought you told me West Ham were on flying. They're flying high. It's all good now, and that Conference League is coming. Then you're going to hold 4 at Palace. Like what? Why?
Okay, but we scored 3.
She's going on here, man. Like,
but we scored 3, Pots.
I don't care. You lost the game.
3.
Doesn't matter that you scored 3 goals.
And the penalty was bullshit, by the way.
You've come up with some mad statements of the mad takes this week, man. No. I think it would be rude for me not to share some of the stuff that you've actually been saying in the last week. It's absolute craziness. I'm worried. I'm worried what's in your bottle that you're drinking. I'm worried about your mental health at this time when these statements are coming out for you,
mate.
No, we can talk about bottles all you want, right? So we all know that you think you're going to win the Conference League. We've laughed at it, and now you're in the semi-finals, and you're going to go win the Conference League. So maybe that's not a mad take. You believe you can win it. That's all cool. I can have that one. Believe in your side. Back your boys. I get that. But then on the back of it on my show, say that if you win it, you've had a better season than Arsenal. That for me was kind of crazy, but okay, if you want to explain that one, then you can do. Then to say that with Dave and Billy on my show that they have the right to sing Champions of Europe and Arsenal don't, that's a cool take. I've got no problem with that. But then to actually sit there and say that you're going to sing it if you win the Conference Cup, and that we're at the end of this season, West Ham are going to be singing Champions of Europe and Arsenal can't. I actually had to go and watch it again to make sure you weren't high. That is absolutely crazy. And then, in the same show, tell me you think Unai Emery's Aston Villa side could finish above Arsenal next season. I just thought, I'm completely and utterly over this guy now.
Wow.
The stuff you say, I don't think you even actually think about it before you say it.
Right. Potts has taken all of those comments out of context.
No, I haven't.
Why is it always out of context?
Why is it out of context?
It's out of context.
Why?
Right, let me just address this Villa one. To say that there's no chance Villa can finish above Arsenal next season, when Arsenal are going to be in the Champions League, a much difficult competition. Aston Villa are on the rise. You're telling me, if there's no chance that Arsenal could finish, say, 6th.
I don't think there's absolutely no chance, but Aston Villa will also be in Europe, most likely. They look like they're going to be in the Europa League. So
but
they'll have to contend with that the same way you
even
had
if
to
they already aren't.
well.
I do not see. I love Unai Emery. I think he's done well, but I do not see how Aston Villa would be able to finish above Arsenal next season.
Possible.
Unless it's a wild season where Arsenal just have another 8.
Where are you finishing? Where are you finishing? Where are you finishing, Potts?
I don't know because we haven't signed anyone
yet.
If we don't sign anyone, we'll come second.
You don't know where you're finishing. You don't know. So what for next season?
How do I know where anyone's going to finish next season?
So why are you saying it's crazy for me to say Villa could finish
Aston Villa
above
will not
Arsenal?
finish above Arsenal next season.
You don't know where you're finishing. You can't even say where you're going to finish.
At the moment, second. I'll go second then.
Oh, shut up.
You think Villa will win it? You think Villa will win it next season? Are Villa going to win the league?
Second next season.
Yeah, I think we'll improve when Declan Rice is in our side. We'll look a lot better. And we'll get 2 or 3 more signings. And I think City will still be strong because they got Haaland. And I think we'll come second. There we go. If you think Villa are going to win the league, go for it, mate. Go put a bet on it. Do you want to do a bet on this one?
Bet on Arsenal finishing second, then.
Shall I have a bet with you about who will finish higher next season? You think
I never said Aston Villa will. I said
I'll give you £100 bet. I'll give you £100 bet that Arsenal will finish above Aston Villa.
No, but this is what you do, Potts. I said Aston Villa could, not would. There's a difference.
Tell me why.
One letter makes a big difference, right? Because you could regress. You have to then go play Champions League.
And Villa can't. Villa can't.
No, they can regress, but they can also improve. When we look at it,
this is how crazy it is.
Aston Villa can get much better, right, than Arsenal can, right?
No, they can't. Why can they?
How much better can Arsenal get from where they are now? It's much harder.
They could go and win the league. That's how better they could get.
No. What I'm talking about is in terms of improving their team, right? There's only so much better they can get. There's still a bigger gap.
Arsenal have a younger squad. Arsenal literally
Emery didn't even start the season. He's had no pre-season.
Lawless,
he's had no transfer.
You're capping. No. You're capping what Arsenal can do. Arsenal have a younger squad.
What Villa can do.
No, Arsenal have. No, I'm not capping what Villa can do. Arsenal already have a better squad than Aston Villa with younger players, so their scope for improvement is bigger than Aston Villa. It is. They have just as much money, if not more money to spend. They have a bigger name, so they can attract better players. So I don't really understand how.
No one's trying to hear you because you said they wouldn't finish above Tottenham, and they will. So no one's trying to hear what your opinion on this.
Aston Villa.
You said that. Yeah.
And you said you'd compete with Man United, and where are you finishing?
Shit, man's dipping into the
going back to the start of the season.
Dipping into the archives, bro.
Absolutely. You got to go back to August, yeah? You got to go back to start of the season to try and pull me out. You said this like 3 weeks ago. Like 3-4 weeks. You said Villa ain't finishing above Spurs.
That might end up being a howler, Tobs. I can't lie.
3 weeks ago, he said that. Not even start of the season.
That's fine. That's fine. Let's see what they do. They got tough fixtures. Let's see.
Oh, let's see. Just admit it. Your team's what?
What a shame we got to wrap this up. What a shame.
We've got so. Do you know what? At the end of the season, I think I need to go through everybody's opinions along the line of this show and just address them just one by one, whether it's Son versus Haaland.
Need a compilation.
You'll need a 2-hour show just for Lawless.
Tobs is going to be playing Vibrator FC and Cyborg FC and all of them.
The cheek of you using my joke against me.
Yeah.
The cheek of you using my joke against me.
Yes.
You have no shame. You have no shame.
Because I will do that. Best believe
this guy's coming back. You have no shame.
Every week I'm gonna go Tobs. So you playing this week? What is it? Vibrator FC? Is it Cyborg? What are you playing? Every week, yeah. I'm using that on you because
I think you're assuming that they're going to be in the Conference League. I think Brighton will get it and potentially they'll finish in 8th.
And I would love that.
No. Listen, that's what pathetic fucking mentality that is. Oh, I'd celebrate finishing 8th. I love it.
I didn't say I'd celebrate it. I said I would love to not finish in the Conference League. I didn't say I'd celebrate it.
So that's how your mentality is.
I don't want to be in the competition that you're hailing up as the best thing since sliced bread. It's a shit
because you know what happened last time you was in it, Tobs. You know what happened? You got slapped.
Competition.
You got slapped and knocked out. That's what happened last time.
Allow it, man. I don't want to be in this shit comp. I don't want to be.
That's what happened last time. You're not good enough for this shit comp.
I don't want to be. Yeah. Thank God. I don't want to be in it.
Yeah. Well, it's good because listen, you're not good enough for the Champions League. You're not good enough for the Europa League. You're not good enough for the Conference League. So you're better off out of Europe. Yeah. That's it.
We're gonna wrap up.
Finish 8 every season. That's what you should do. 8 every season.
I gotta go, man. I gotta go.
Potts,
So do I.
it's been a
So do I.
pleasure. I'll let the people know where to find you all. Obviously, 12th Man Podcast. Do you know what I'm saying? Guys, make sure you go check out Potts. Make sure you go check out Tobs. Tap in Tobs link in description as well. And Lawless, West Ham Fan TV. These guys,
Absolute wallet, bro.
Guys, make sure you subscribe. Links in the description. In a bit, people. Peace.